Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan Conricus back at. He has been on the show a number of months, really. He was the former spokesperson, you might remember, for the IDF. And when he was in active duty with the IDF, he joined us all the time. But he's now a senior fellow at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. I know you were in New York last week. You're back in Israel now. And now this news breaks. Your reaction now, I guess, on the outside to some degree, looking in about what's happening this evening. And Israel, again, for people just joining us, Hamas had agreed to this ceasefire, it said, but Israel then came out sometime later and said, we're still going forward with our operation in Rafah. What do you make of it?
Yes, hi. Thank you for having me on again. I think what Hamas is trying to do is a classic exercise in deception. They're basically approving a proposal that wasn't on the table to begin with, and then they're aiming to achieve the headlines that say Hamas approves deal, Israel doesn't. In fact, what Hamas are trying to do is to force Israel to end the war by getting a few, not all, but a few of the hostages back. And that is something that Israel has said from the beginning that Israel is not going to be willing to do. Israel wants its hostages back. It's 133 hostages. It needs them back, but it cannot allow terrorist Hamas to win the war by staying alive.
Now, I have, you and I use these maps to kind of illustrate what we're trying to do. I've zoomed in on Rafah, on the southern part of the Gaza Strip right here. So this is what we're talking about. But if I come back to it a little bit larger than this, I think what's interesting, that's why I was curious where those pictures were. If you kind of split it in half, it's hard to do, but the eastern part, back, I guess, in this area in here is kind of what we're talking about today. Because I found it interesting. We keep hearing headlines about 1 million people, 1.3, 1.4 million people are all in that area, small area. But Israel asked about 100,000 or so to get out. You're shaking your head. You're saying there's not that many, or?
No. Those are, I think, greatly inflated numbers, and the area that you very correctly marked on the map is where current Israeli operations probably have started, and that is also the area where the IDF, ahead of time, telegraphing its intentions, have said to Palestinians that you need to leave out of concern for your safety.
So it's very close to the border, right? Right near the Israeli border.
Exactly. It's very close to the Israeli border, and it is not the important ground that Israel needs to take in order to defeat Hamas in Gaza and in order to take out the tunnels through which Hamas smuggles all its weapons. That is parallel to the border with Egypt, what Israelis refer to as the Philadelphia corridor for various historic reasons, and that is where Israel needs to go, and that is where I think eventually Israel will go, because as long as Israel doesn't do that, Hamas still exists, and Israel cannot allow that to continue to happen.
And
so
when you say go, you're probably talking about ground invasions, right? Switch from these pictures,
correct,
if we can, back to the maps, just because what the Lieutenant Colonel is saying, I think, is if you come, when we say the Rafah crossing, right in here, we're talking about the border between Egypt and Gaza. This area, the eastern part, which is kind of the Israeli border in here, I think is what we're talking about with the targeted airstrikes, correct me if I'm wrong, being in that area, where you're thinking eventually you got to move in more along the Egyptian border.
Correct. That is what needs to happen. And until it does, Hamas will continue to control parts of the Gaza Strip. And Hamas won't be defeated militarily. And very importantly for Israel, many of the hostages are also presumed to be there. And the pictures that you're showing on the screen now, the Israeli demonstrators outside of the Tel Aviv headquarters of the IDF, that is actually the target audience of Hamas. What they are trying to do, what Hamas is trying to do by their psychological operations, is to target these people, representatives of the families of the hostages, in order to get them to apply pressure on Israeli leadership.
Is it working? Some of the Israeli people, getting frustrated with the Netanyahu government and how long this has gone on, how many hostages are still held captive?
Yes, indeed so. Many people are frustrated, and if I may add, I think rightfully so, because for many months, Israel said that we need to continue to apply military pressure on Hamas in order to get our hostages back. Sadly, for the last 3.5, 4 months, that isn't really reality, and Israel has been very, very limited in its operations inside the Gaza Strip and the tactical military pressure that it has been applying. Perhaps we're seeing a change to that now with what appears to be an initial move on Rafah.
Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.